I have an idea. Let's talk about freehand. Welcome back. So, freehand design can be a little intimidating to some people, but I have a very basic breakdown of how to create a skull. And today we're going to walk through that. It's going to lay out how the paint functions on a two-dimensional surface, how to break objects down into smaller geometric shapes, create guidelines for ourselves. This is something that you're definitely going to have to practice, but I believe in you. Practice is going to make perfection, so don't be afraid. And the way that I blended this up is also an interesting approach. I wanted to present something different, so I've used stippling and went for a rougher texture, but mainly what I want, the purpose of this video, is for you to start drawing, to sharpen your illustrative talents, because it will transfer over to your dexterity with the paintbrush. So, don't be afraid, join me and let's paint a skull. Skull. The first thing I did was base coat this piece of plastic card with a nice neutral gray. Ooh la la. And the colors used were Vallejo Black, Thornwood Green, Guncorpse Brown, Screaming Skull, and Vallejo White. I'll put the more information down in the video description as to which brands those are. But what's more important than the colors is the actual illustration. So the first thing I want you to do is draw a little plus sign or a crosshair. This is forming the foundation for that perfect circle, or slightly imperfect. That's fine too. You have some wiggle room working with acrylics and being able to paint on both sides of the line. Once you have that crosshair laid down and you're happy, you're going to lay in a capital A. Excuse my hair here. That'll form the nose hole. They're going to put two symmetrical dots on either side. And it's important to remember equal and opposite. And there I am connecting the dots. Bring a little curve on those lines as well. There's two ways to go about the eye holes. You can either draw it in or gradually kind of fill in that portion until it looks balanced to you. And we'll fill in the bottom of the A and give them nice four strong teeth. And we'll fill in the rest of the whole shebang there. And starting with this deeper color, I can start moving my gradient upwards through the brighter colors that I've put together. I'm covering about 3/4 of the surface right now, using appropriately sized brushes wherever they'll fit in there. And yeah, we're stippling it on, trying to get this bony texture, and adding brighter colors on top of lighter colors, covering less and less of that surface, working, basically a stippled gradient. Sometimes the paint is a little bit wet, like it is here. I have a hairdryer handy, though. I'll pull that out and dry it so each layer can dry and, fully saturate. There's an example of the kind of brush strokes I'm laying down. See, you kind of want them to be a little irregular, and then with the intersections of these irregular brush strokes, it'll start to create more textures, and you'll get this really cool, rough kind of, bone with a lot of divots and decay on it. There I am drying it out real quick, but it's a very gradual process, and you want to take your time with each color, make sure that they're fully saturated. Playing with the transparencies of each tone as it comes off of your brush really adds to the subtlety. And you can take this, as far as you like, or make it as short of an exercise as you like. But I'd like to demonstrate, the longer, more meticulous, detailed version. As you are the creator, so you can kind of tap out at any point that you'd like. But I'd like to demonstrate what's possible. You can see sometimes If I'm not happy with a transition, I have too much of one color, not enough of another, you have the wet palette handy. These colors aren't drying out anytime soon, so you can easily jump back and just add more of whatever is missing. In this case, I felt like the forehead of the skull wasn't quite bright enough. I kind of was a little too dark off of the jump, but you can see it's easily corrected. And just keep tapping and moving upwards towards the light. Took a little break to let it dry out, and here I am doing even more of those bright ivories, making sure that forehead is brought out more. Really want to get that convex dimension going on, make it kind of bulbing out from all the deep thoughts he's been having through a life well lived. And even this still has just a touch of ivory mixed in. There we go. We can get real fine with it. Want to pull out those upward facing edges. Just assuming that there's a top-down light source on this particular drawing of a skull that's maybe existing on the side of a tank or flapping in the wind on a banner as some knights charge to their victory or defeat. And there I am kind of accenting the temples, bringing out those lines that go upwards from the brow. I know this isn't a anatomically correct skull. This is more of an illustrative Warhammer style skull. I've made it look a little evil and all that. And there we go. Just kind of getting some of the final mid-tones worked in there. Yep, ever the perfectionist, our hero here has got to go in and tap in more of those bright tones. But as acrylics dry, they tend to desaturate, so it's a good idea to go back, even though something looks complete or done, just add another layer or two to make sure everything is vibrant and saturated. There I am kind of cleaning up some of the eye holes, the nose hole. And I also decided that I want to put some chips in the skull as well. Just a couple divots, almost, I don't know, give it it's kind of a stone look, but you can see I'll start by just placing a deeper portion, make sure that's nice and firm, and then highlighting that lower edge, the portion that's, facing upwards towards the light, as well as the inside. You've kind of created a dark line there, and then I'll add another highlight to that upward facing edge. As the light descends downward, it's kind of protruding like a lip, so the light will fall more heavily on that lower edge, and of course it won't be the same inside of that chip as well. You made it. Hopefully you did okay, or at least happy with your own results. The motto here is going to be, do it again. That's the constant motto. Do it again and again and again. Practice makes perfect. I can describe how to do something, but you're going to have to exercise your painting muscles to really achieve this task. You do it one time, well, that's your first try. You do this 10 times, hopefully it's 9 times better than the first. So always keep practicing,